living beings of flesh and blood, storm and fury. The oceans of the earth course through our veins. The winds of the sky fill our lungs. The very bedrock of the planet makes our bones. We are alive.
We are not machines, not mindless automatons, not cogs in the industrial world. We aren't some new age androids beyond animal. We are the land, and the land is us.
Our defense is a humble joining with the earth, fighting for the wild in defense of yourself. It is through becoming part of the wild that we will find a courage far greater than ourselves. A unity that will give us the strength to stand against the onslaught of civilization, against the dollar, against the machine, against jail, and against death itself for what is sacred and right.
In 1980, 5 friends hiked into the desert, all long-term activists sick with careerism, legality, and failure. They knew a new kind of group was needed, one that would go beyond the law, push the envelope, hit the corporations where it hurts, in their wallets, and most of all, never compromise in defense of the earth.
Around their campfire, EarthFirst was born.
EarthFirst is a movement, not an organization. We have no members, but rather EarthFirsters. While many of us share a set of common beliefs and lifestyles, we are bonded primarily by our actions. We are more than environmentalists. We use tactics that go beyond begging politicians or pandering to the media. We take to the streets. We block roads and dismantle equipment. We traverse through tree canopies and trudge through swamps. We dress up like clowns, do guerrilla theater, and renovate billboards. The only offices we sit in are the ones we occupy and disrupt. We separate ourselves from environmental groups by using humor, courage, and cunning. This right here is a banner being hung off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah! Woo-hoo.
We have few guiding policies besides our stance that life on Earth cannot be compromised. It is not ours to compromise. Wherever industrial intrusion exists, EarthFirst groups spring up. We've had groups from the redwood forests of Northern California to the Everglades of South Florida. Woo! From the Northwoods of Maine and Vermont. Yeah! To the deserts of Arizona. Not to mention groups around the world. We have a direct action manual that is filled with our versions of green technologies. Dozens of devices and techniques like this cantilever bridge blockade that EarthFirst has developed over the years to stop business as usual. Over the decades, many have come and gone. Among our ranks are hillbillies, hippies, punks, farmers, grandmothers, and runaway teenagers. Our movement has been led by many strong women, putting their bodies on the line.
We have been united by our love of deserts, canyons, forests, mountains, and the wildness that lives in them. We believe that life is sacred and that wilderness exists for its own sake and needs no human value. This is the core of biocentrism. We don't just defend places because they're beautiful. We fight because we are part of the biosphere that we live in. Just like lichens, ravens, grasses, tortoises, beetles. We are not masters nor stewards. We are kin to all things. Our disconnect from the earth is not only seen in declining wild animal populations, but this society's disregard for non-human life manifests all around us as animals are turned into commodities in laboratories and in factory farms.
Life on the planet cannot wait for corporations to voluntarily stop the destruction. Less than 3% of original forests on the continental US remain today. Coal companies have blown apart over 2,200 square miles in the Appalachian Mountains alone. The nuclear industry has made over 2,000 square miles unlivable. Tens of thousands of dams block rivers and creeks, collapsing entire ecosystems. Coastal regions are plagued with dead zones from agricultural pollution and toxic waste from oil refineries. The fossil fuel industry has changed the chemical makeup of the atmosphere. The litany of these examples is practically endless. But to name one, it is commonly accepted that the Arctic ice caps could be gone within our lifetimes. The top of the food chain is disappearing due to habitat destruction. Lynx, panthers, and wolves could be extinct in as little as 2 decades. Coral reef ecosystems are dying because of increasing ocean acid levels and nutrient loads. This right here is a picture of sewage just being dumped directly into the ocean off the coast of Florida. There are trash islands twice the size of Texas in our oceans. Industrial capitalism is going after the last remaining places where the forces of the planet, fire, floods, migration, and evolution continue. Industrial capitalism is a threat to evolution itself. War is being waged. We have chosen our side.
Our movement started with a few charismatic individuals in about 1979 who were tired of seeing environmental groups settle for fractions of wilderness. What started with actions against dams in the Southwest moved into the Pacific Northwest to defend our last ancient forests in this country. By 1990, the movement had broken from many of its original participants and become strongly influenced by an urban-based anarchism.
What?
And as a result, we've seen EarthFirst style tactics pop up in city streets all across the country. We've taken on genetically mutated crops, global free trade agreements, power plants. And EarthFirsters have also collaborated with offshoot and sister organizations like the Buffalo Field Campaign, Mountain Justice, Rising Tide, Ruckus Society, Root Force, and the Biotic Baking Brigade. We've worked with organizations like the Rainforest Action Network, More Gardens in New York City, the Indigenous Environmental Network, Sea Shepherd, People's Global Action, and the Common Ground Collective in New Orleans.